guys, welcome back to my channel. It's very windy, so I won't be long, I promise. Just having a little look at the bushes, and it's just filled with blackberries. So today I'm definitely going to come out with a tub and pick some blackberries, because it's the most autumn thing you can possibly do. It's so windy. It's very windy the last few days. Whatever storm was coming through, hopefully is on its way out at the moment. So I've just come out to pull all the fencing up because it was all very much leaning. So I have ended up with nearly a whole day off today. I've moved today's work into tomorrow because I've got the builders here over the weekend and they're plastering and I don't want to be in their way, so it just makes sense for me to go to work. So thankfully I could move most of my work around. So I'm gonna, crack on with the endless horsey jobs that need to be done. Do you think equestrians can ever manage a day where they don't do horse stuff? Like, I'd feel too guilty. Like, if I took a whole day off and just like chilled on the sofa and watched TV and did whatever I wanted, I'd feel so guilty for not doing something on the yard, not cleaning tack, not knocking down the cobwebs. There's forever cobwebs at the moment. Every time I clear the stables out the cobwebs, literally a few days later they're all back again. I think I'd feel too guilty if I didn't do something. And I mentioned this in the last vlog, but I'm really tempted to bring back my history vlog, and I have been doing a bit of research on ideas for videos. And the more I read again about the Victorians and how the stable boys looked after the horses, or most of them looked after the horses, and how tidy everything was and how the tack was cleaned every day, and there'd been a tiny cobweb in a stool that had probably been really told off for that, and just makes me feel really bad. As I look around my tack room, I'm like, there's cobwebs everywhere in here. So then it kind of makes me slightly want to clean and tidy the tack room, because I'm like, this place is just a mess, I need to tidy it. So but I have got lots of things I need to be cracking on with. The possible bringing back my history channel, tidying my whole tack room and stable yard. I've got another project that I'm nearly about to get going with. It's something I've done before. I'll talk about it in another vlog, but I'm very excited, but it's needing a lot of my attention right now. So I've got that to do as well. But firstly, what this video is going to be about, and that is Mr Corp. So let me take you to him. I did try to film this a bit earlier, but there's a tractor in the background and he's making such a noise, and for some reason my phone picks up the tractor more than anything else. So Mr Corp, you going to talk to us? He's like, no, not really. He doesn't really. He's just stood in the sun. Is not looking so great. Now, you'll know this year I haven't done huge amounts of ridden work with him. Like, he does probably hack 2 or 3 times a week max, and it's not working for him. Now, it is working in some areas, because not riding him too much is better for his skin. I mentioned this in the last vlog. His skin is... I literally rode him after his holiday, and the next day he was super itchy again. He just can't regulate the temperature of his skin very well. And it's a real issue. But there are also loads of other triggers for his skin, like the pollen, like the changing of season. That's a big problem for him. He really struggles with a big weather change, and we've had quite a big weather change recently. So that's a big trigger. Insect bites, things he might eat, all that can cause him issues with his skin. And we've tried the brewer's yeast, we've tried oils, we've tried supplements for his skin. It doesn't work, because I think it's a mechanical issue. I don't think it's something that can be sorted by a supplement. But he looks poor. He's a good weight, but he's poor. He's lost all the muscle and top line over his back, over his neck, over his bottom, and he looks awful for it. I feel embarrassed that he looks like this. Now, if he was 28, I'd go, fair enough, he's an old horse, that's what he should look like. But he's 23, I think. He doesn't need to look that poor over, muscle-wise. So we're going to rebuild him. Now, it is difficult because I could end up making his skin worse, and that is a risk I'm going to have to take, because I can't look at him looking this weak. It doesn't suit him. It's not good for his physical health. It's not good for his joints. So I'm going to up his workload back up to probably 5 days a week. I'm going to show you the kind of plan I'm going to set out for him, because obviously he's a veteran horse. I'm not going to push him like I might push Madam there, or a younger horse. It has to be a little bit more carefully done, because obviously he's an old boy and he's got old joints and he doesn't need to be hammered. But he does need to have some muscle tone put back on him, and to try and make him look a little bit more like the dressage horse he once was, or the event horse he once was. So that's my plan over the next couple of months, is to see if I can rebuild my dressage horse and get him looking beautiful and healthy and strong and little more muscular again. If you see his bottom, he's lost the muscle along here, and especially behind the saddle. Like, there's just nothing. And also you can now see there's quite a dip down his wither into his back, where again he's just lost all his top line, all the muscle across his back. And hacking's obviously not enough. It's not going to build enough muscle for what, you know, I'd like him to look like, which is why we're going to have to go back to the schooling. He's got lots of old scarring hair there where he's bitten his back over the years when he's chewing his skin. So yeah, building this back up. Also, like, even the neck, you can just see, like, he's just got no top line anymore. And I can't stand seeing him like this. So he's coming out of a semi-retirement. I'm sorry, Coop, you're back into full work, mate. He's going to carry on itching. I don't know why, but the camera is making him look particularly dusty today. And, you know, by no means is he shining beautifully, but he's not as dusty as he looks on camera. I've also been thinking about Coop's hard feed. So at the moment he's just on a chaff, a balancer, and some supplements and a little bit of oil. And that worked well when the grass was good in the field and he was on haylage. But now that he's just on hay and the crop field is looking a bit poor, I think he needs some extra calories. So I'm probably going to put him on the Dodson Horrible Build and Glow, which he was on last winter and did really well on. And I know it works well for him. Oh, got a fly. So going to have to spend a few extra pennies in the feed shop. I can probably count on one hand how many times I've done in-hand pole work with Corporal. Now, he's obviously done pole work over his life. He's done lots in trot and canter, but I've barely done any in walk. And all does it show, because he finds this really difficult. He just wants to trot like he did here. Literally half the time he wants to trot because he knows he can get through it a lot quicker. He's still got quite a bit of spring in his trot, so he finds it so much easier. Doing it in walk, he finds really difficult. And I spend most of my time just picking the poles back up because he constantly knocks them out the way. But I know this is going to do him the world of good. So we're going to be doing this once a week. It's good for my step count as well. And hopefully all this lifting over the poles is really going to help him. This is what our schooling sessions are going to look like for the next few weeks. Lots of stretching. Now, when I'm riding Corporal, he feels like he's really stretching. When I watch it back, I'm thinking, not really stretching that much. Need to ask him to stretch a little bit more. But lots of transitions in walk and trot, doing some really nice stretching in the canter work, lots of changing the reins, serpentines, things that are going to get him just, you know, being flexible and soft through his body, lots of walking just to give him a break, and just slowly we're going to build the strength back up in him. But as much stretching as I can get him to do to try and really get him to lift and stretch over his back to help that muscle development. He quite likes stretching, so I don't think he'll mind. So his weekly work routine should look something like one in-hand walk pole session, 1 or 2 schooling sessions, which are mainly going to be stretching and probably only about 30 minutes long. And the majority of that is going to be warming him up and cooling him down, because obviously being an older horse, he takes a while to warm his muscles up. And like I say, we'll just slowly build on the schooling session. So as he gets stronger, ask a little bit more of him, do a little bit more lateral, do a bit of lateral work, introduce some more interesting stuff, not just trotting around in circles, stretching him. And then 1 long hack a week, 1 hill hack a week, and then if there's time for anything else in there, another normal hack.